I don't understand how capitalism in Europe has origins. Hasn't it just been around forever?
Not at all. The ideas for capitalism started in the 13th century. Merchants in Europe came up with the idea to let people borrow money, but to pay them for the time that they borrowed it. This is how we got the idea of interest. It laid the foundation for the capitalist idea to use existing wealth to create more wealth.
So what exactly did the merchants do with their money?
The biggest change that Europe saw with markets was the idea of the joint stock campaigns, in which investors pool their resources for a major commercial enterprise. This is a huge shift from the idea that a private owner would only invest in his own company.
Wow, this sounds similar to Wall Street today.
It was similar, but on a much smaller scale. It also didn't have a central place for hipsters to hang out and complain about high tuition.
So other than lack of hipsters, what did they have in Europe?
In Europe, they were still using a lot of mercantilist ideals. Adam Smith hadn't been born yet to tell people how to run things. With the downfall of the church, however, people began to develop their own economic ethics. This new ethic, combined with the rise of the bourgeoisie class, made a new group of wealthy art patrons. The Teatro San Cassiano is the first opera house to operate with this new system.
What was the Teatro San Cassiano, and why is it important?
The Teatro San Cassiano was the first public opera house and opened in 1637 in Venice. The building was built of stone after the original wooden structure burned down and was owned by the wealthy Tron family. It was considered public because it was directed by an impresario or a general manager. This is a change from the original model of playing for the nobles exclusively.
So why did the nobles choose this over the old model of operating an opera house?
The main reason for this change was because of the introduction of the impresario. The impresario is a person who organizes and finances art shows, concerts, and operas. The idea originated in Italy, where they were usually wealthy noblemen and donors of the theatre. For the Teatro San Cassiano, this was the wealthy Tron family. In addition to being wealthy, many of them were amateur composers.
Excuse me. So was the opera house they owned just a launching pad for them to produce their own compositions?
To some extent, yes. Although many of them, including Benedetto Ferrari, Francesco Manefli, and Francesco Calatibruni, were composers, the Tron family was just crazy rich. At this time, nobility in Venice was an inherited state. However, financial prestige could change and easily surpass a poorer nobleman. The main role of these upper-class patrons was to pay for things in advance of ticket sales. Benedetto Ferrari was a prominent composer and wrote music and libretti for Andromeda, but none of his work survives. This work has record of being the first performed work at the Teatro, as well as L'Amiga Fulminata, composed by Francesco Manefli. However, all of his work is lost as well.
Well, obviously public opera houses are still around today. Is it almost the same thing?
There are many things that still carry over from those older ideals. The term impresario is still used in the entertainment industry to refer to someone who is the producer of concerts, tour, and most music events. The term also spread to other realms besides music, including business, filmmaking, and television production. Even with the recent rise of modern capitalism, the idea of credit and interest are still applicable, and people are always needed to finance projects. The idea that wealth was a static thing led to the end of this era, and people realized that wealth had the power to create more wealth. Today, wealthy impresarios all over the world finance people's new ideas and help expand wealth.
I'm glad that Adam Smith figured everything out. I didn't imagine I would ever learn so much from a panda.